eyes, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday. Okay, pay it forward Friday. We'll season the day. Digital finance, unlearning a love, serving food to what those two rising as the beat and mid Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Hey, it's your Breakfast with the Thomases, Grand Rising, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. It did it, Al. It did it.
Yep. Grand Rising. Welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. I am one of your hosts, a Gold Banker, coming to you live 1 gram at a time. And we have what was that? I don't know.
That was Serial clocking out. What
we have our special lady in the space today. Miss Ruby's in the building, y'all. Make sure you give her a round of applause, because guess what today is? Who knows what today is? Today is the birthday in the house. The birthday's in the house. Hey.
I love it. Every year, y'all. Every year.
I got to want y'all to shine a light on. Hey. Shine a light on. Hey.
Al, I was born with a light. And
yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here to celebrate your birthday with us. And, it's a blessing for many of us to make sure that she sees another golden number.
That's right. That is right. Mm-hmm. Oh, so excited. Guys, Grand Rising, welcome to us. Welcome to everybody on all the platforms. We are just here doing our thing. This is the Aquarius time of the year, and I'm loving it. We got one of our main Aquariuses in the house, Black Casper. Loving you. Today is the shared birthday. I have an Aquarius birthday, and I share with all my Aquariuses all month long, and just loving on everybody, and all my other signs. We just pull y'all in. That's how we do. Don't worry, that sound is coming from the system because it's trying to call folks. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop, so let's let it finish. All right, keep it going.
Definitely does that every now and then. Yeah, this is like
it stops on its own.
Yeah, this is a great Monday, mental wellness Monday.
That's right.
We got some stuff to talk to you guys about today, and I want you guys to really put your thinking caps on and your moving caps on.
That's right.
Things have, since January 1, every Monday morning there is a new swing. There's a new swing coming up to you guys, and I want to know, I really got to ask: are y'all guys watching what's going on? And do you know, or are you just caught up by it? And what's funny on top of it is, every weekend there's some new spectacular coming out, and the government is putting stuff out the same weekend. These good spectacular coming.
Well, the government. Are you talking about the government is putting out stuff? What are they putting out now?
They're putting out new revisions while you were sleeping. Revision. First, what we're going to talk about is banking revisions today, and how it's going to affect you directly. Last week, you got the once over that the Federal Reserve was taking over a portion of this. Now you got the persons who are holding your money directly, according to you, making moves and handling how much you get, literally. And I don't want to tell the who's before we get started. But
how about we talk about let's set it up first, Al, because it seems that you're being a little vague. So family, we come here every week. For those who are new and those who aren't, we're not here to scare you. We're here to inform so that you may make informed decisions about what you do. And when we say inform, we ask you to do nothing, trust us not, but do your own research, because we've done ours and we're making the moves necessary for our family. This conversation is Breakfast with the Thomases, because you come to a family space that is here to support and uplift you, because that's who we are for everyone, for each other and everyone outside. Now, what we're sharing with you are that the banking rules, we talked to y'all a long time about how banks work. If no one's ever taught you about that, you are on a show that will tell you the truth and show you where to find it so that you can make decisions on how to go forward and not be sideswiped by what's happening behind closed doors every weekend.
Yes, indeed.
So while we take the day off, and today's President's Day, a banking holiday, remember that banks have holidays.
I did forget that.
You and I rest while they work. That's why they get off at 4, not 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, with that being said, I want you to understand that the banking rules have changed. Before, we all talked about the $10,000 balance that would trigger a record in your bank, or in this case, they would have to put a hold. They'd have to slow you down. You had a time limit before you could take out anything past $9,999.99. Y'all remember that? Yeah, y'all know how about that. So that balance has changed, and we want you to understand something. It affects you, and we all need to be aware of what to do going forward. So let's get some good information in, and then we'll have a great conversation. I want to say I love you and thank you to so many of y'all that remember today is my Earth Day, and that we are celebrating together no matter what is happening out here. It's a celebration of overcoming. Y'all remember that. Today I woke up, and I say this in the name of Black Casper the Warrior. I say this, that I woke up. Not everybody woke up, so I'm grateful. And that's the first thing going forward. Grand Rising, and thank you. I got all this love coming through the house. I love it. I see it. And Brother Black Casper, you be careful out there, my brother. He on that road doing his thing, but still showing up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He making it happen, but still showing up. And for all those who are in the audience that are showing up, we thank you. So come on in. Remember, you're not in the audience. You at the table. Pull up. Get your little glass. You get a little libation. I got my little water today because I got to keep it clean. Got to keep it good. And then that's how this happened, y'all. That's how that happened. But we've got to get the information in. So let's have the conversation and come together, because it's breakfast with the Thomas' time. Let's go.
If you think you can walk into your bank right now and withdraw your own money without being questioned, tracked, or blocked, you're living in a fantasy. The financial system has officially entered a new phase, a phase where your access to your own cash is no longer a right. It is a privilege that can be revoked at any moment. And the scariest part is that most people have absolutely no idea this is happening. Let me be very clear about what I'm about to tell you. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not fear-mongering. This is documented policy that went into effect just 4 weeks ago on January 1st, 2026. The Internal Revenue Service, working in coordination with the Department of Treasury and FinCEN, has implemented a new surveillance system that monitors every single cash withdrawal you make over $1,000. Not $10,000, not $5,000, $1,000. That is the new threshold where the government demands to know what you're doing with your own money. Think about that for a moment. $1,000. That is less than a month's rent for most people. That is less than a car payment and insurance combined. That is barely enough to buy groceries for a family of 4 for 3 weeks. The government has decided that if you need to withdraw that amount in cash, you are now a person of interest. You're now someone who requires monitoring, tracking, and potential investigation. But here is what they are not telling you. This is not about catching criminals. This is not about stopping money laundering or tax evasion. This is about control. This is about the government slowly, methodically, systematically restricting your access to physical currency because they know what is coming. They know the system is breaking. They know the dollar is dying. And they need to make sure that when the panic starts, when people finally wake up and try to pull their money out of the banks, those people will be stopped at the door. The official policy document states that any withdrawal between $1,000 and $10,000 will now be reported to FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. The bank is required to log the transaction, identify the individual, record the purpose of the withdrawal, and submit a detailed report if the pattern appears suspicious. And here is the keyword, suspicious. They do not define what suspicious means. They do not give you a clear set of rules. They leave it deliberately vague so that any withdrawal for any reason can be flagged if they decide they do not like it. And before you say, well, I do not withdraw large amounts, so this does not affect me, let me explain how this actually works in practice. Because the $1,000 threshold is just the trigger point. Once you cross that threshold once, your account is marked. Every subsequent withdrawal, even if it is $500, even if it is $300, gets added to your profile. The system is looking for patterns. It is looking for people who are trying to avoid the limit by making multiple smaller withdrawals. They call this structuring, and it is technically illegal under federal law, even if you are withdrawing your own money for completely legitimate purposes. Let me give you a real example that is happening right now across the country. A small business owner goes to his bank on Monday and withdraws $900 in cash to pay his contractors who prefer cash payment. On Wednesday, he withdraws another $800 for the same reason. On Friday, he withdraws $700, 3 separate transactions, none of them over the $1,000 limit, total amount $2,400 over 1 week. The bank's automated system flags this as potential structuring. Within 72 hours, FinCEN receives a suspicious activity report. Within 2 weeks, the IRS opens a preliminary inquiry. The business owner has no idea any of this is happening. He has done nothing wrong. He has violated no law. He is simply running his business the way he always has. But now he is in the system. And once you are in the system, you stay in the system. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, but I can just use my debit card or write checks, so I do not need cash anyway. And that is exactly what they want you to think. Because the end game here is not just monitoring cash withdrawals. The end game is eliminating cash entirely. It is forcing you into a completely digital system where every single transaction you make can be tracked, recorded, analyzed, and if necessary, blocked. And we are already seeing the infrastructure for this being built right now. On January 16th, 2026, just 13 days ago, the Federal Reserve announced an expansion of the FedNow instant payment system. This is the central bank digital currency infrastructure that they have been building for the past 3 years. They are calling it a faster payment system. They are selling it as a convenience. But what it really is a control mechanism. It is the ability for the government to see every dollar you spend, every transaction you make in real time, and more importantly, it is the ability to turn off your access to money with a single keystroke. Think about what that means. Right now, if you have cash in your hand, that cash is yours. You can spend it wherever you want. You can save it under your mattress. You can give it to your kids. You can buy whatever you choose without anyone's permission. But in a fully digital system, every transaction requires approval from the network. And if the network decides, for whatever reason, that your transaction is not authorized, you cannot complete it. Your money becomes worthless in your hands. You might have $1 million in your account, but if the system says no, you cannot buy a loaf of bread. This is not theoretical. This is not some distant dystopian future. This is happening in other countries right now. In Nigeria, the government launched a central bank digital currency called the Naira in 2021. Within 18 months, they restricted cash withdrawals to $100 per day per person. The official reason was to encourage digital adoption. The real reason was capital control. When people started protesting, when people started demanding their cash, the government simply said, we are modernizing the economy. Adapt or suffer. In India, in 2016, the government executed something called demonetization. Overnight, they declared that 86% of all cash in circulation was no longer legal tender. They gave people a few weeks to deposit their old currency into banks and receive new currency in return. The stated goal was to fight corruption and black money. The real result was economic chaos. Small businesses collapsed. Poor people who had saved cash under their beds for decades watched their life savings become worthless paper. And the government used the crisis to push people into digital payment systems where every transaction could be monitored. This is the playbook. Create a crisis, offer a solution, and use the solution to implement control. And we are watching the exact same playbook unfold in the United States right now. Let me show you the timeline. Let me show you how the trap is being set step by step, month by month, so you can see where this is going and understand why you have a very small window of time to act. Phase 1 began in April 2020 when the Federal Reserve suspended Regulation D. This was the rule that limited you to 6 convenient withdrawals per month from your savings account. The Fed announced they were suspending the rule to give people more flexibility during the pandemic. Most people thought this was a good thing. What they did not tell you is that while the federal rule was suspended, the banks were allowed to keep their own restrictions in place. And almost every major bank in America did exactly that. They kept the 6 withdrawal limit. Some even reduced it. Why? Because banks do not want you taking money out. They want your money locked in their system where they can use it, lend it, leverage it. And by keeping withdrawal restrictions in place while claiming they removed them, they conditioned people to accept limits as normal. Phase 2 started in January 2023 after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic Bank. These 3 banks held a combined $542 billion in assets. When they failed within 6 weeks of each other, it exposed the core vulnerability of the fractional reserve banking system. The banks did not have the cash to cover withdrawals. They had loaned it out, invested it, leveraged it, and when depositors demanded their money, the banks could not provide it. The FDIC had to step in with emergency measures. They guaranteed deposits above the $250,000 insurance limit. They provided unlimited liquidity to prevent a complete bank run. But here is what most people missed. In the aftermath of that crisis, the Fed and the FDIC implemented new stress testing requirements for regional banks. These requirements forced banks to maintain higher liquidity ratios. But higher liquidity ratios mean less lending. Less lending means slower economic growth. And to avoid slower growth, the banks found a different solution: restrict withdrawals. Phase 3 began in October 2025, when the Joint Economic Committee released a report showing that the national debt had crossed $38 trillion. The report included a devastating statistic. The United States government is now paying more in interest on the debt than it spends on national defense. Interest payments in fiscal year 2025 totaled $1.22 trillion. Defense spending was $790 billion. Let me repeat that. The government is spending more money just to service the debt, just to pay interest, than it spends on the entire military, every soldier, every tank, every aircraft carrier, every weapon system. That is not sustainable. That is not manageable. That is a death spiral. And the Congressional Budget Office has already projected where this goes. By 2028, interest payments will consume 14.52% of all federal spending. By 2030, it will be over 17%. At that point, the government faces an impossible choice: default on the debt, cut essential services, or print money to cover the gap. We all know which option they will choose. They will print, they will inflate, they will devalue the currency. And when they do, the buying power of your dollars will evaporate. This brings us to phase 4, which started on January 1st, 2026, the $1,000 withdrawal monitoring system I told you about earlier. But there is more to this phase than just monitoring. There is active restriction happening right now that almost nobody is talking about. As of today, January 29, 2026, the average ATM withdrawal limit across major U.S. banks has been quietly reduced. Just 2 years ago, the average limit was $1,000 per day. Today, it is between $500 and $800 depending on your bank and account type. PNC Bank has a limit of $500 for standard checking accounts. Bank of America ranges from $700 to $1,000 depending on account tier. Chase has reduced its standard limit to $800. Wells Fargo caps most accounts at $700. US Bank is at $500 for new accounts. Think about what this means in practice. If you need $2,000 in cash for an emergency, you cannot get it from an ATM. You have to go into a branch during business hours. And when you go into the branch and request $2,000, the teller is required to ask you what the money is for. They are required to log the reason. They are required to submit documentation if the amount seems inconsistent with your normal banking activity. You're being interrogated for accessing your own money. And here is where it gets even more insidious. Multiple banks have begun implementing what they call cash delivery delays for large withdrawals. If you want to withdraw more than $5,000 in cash, you now have to call ahead and give the bank 24 to 72 hours notice. They claim this is for security reasons, to make sure they have enough cash on hand. The real reason is to give them time to evaluate whether they want to allow the withdrawal at all. Because under current banking regulations, if a withdrawal is deemed suspicious, if it raises red flags in their system, the bank can refuse to complete the transaction and file a suspicious activity report without ever telling you why. Let me tell you what happened to a small business owner in Ohio just last week. I've seen the documentation. This is a real case. The owner needed $12,000 in cash to purchase equipment from a private seller. He called his bank, Chase, and requested the withdrawal. The bank told him they needed 3 business days' notice. He said fine and scheduled the withdrawal for the following Monday. On Monday, he arrived at the branch to pick up the cash. The branch manager informed him that the withdrawal had been flagged by their compliance department and that he would need to provide documentation proving the purpose of the withdrawal. He showed them the bill of sale for the equipment. They said they needed to verify the legitimacy of the seller. He provided the seller's business license and tax ID. They said they would need to hold the withdrawal pending additional review. No time frame was given. No explanation was provided. His money was being held hostage and there was nothing he could do about it. This is not an isolated incident. This is becoming standard operating procedure. Banks are using anti-money laundering regulations, know your customer requirements, and suspicious activity reporting as weapons to control access to cash. And they are doing it with the full backing of federal regulators. Now, let me show you why this matters right now. Let me connect this to what is happening in the precious metals markets, because this is where the government's desperation becomes undeniable. As of 8 o'clock this morning, Eastern Time, January 29, 2026, silver is trading at $118.04 per ounce. Let me put that in perspective for you. 1 year ago, on January 29, 2025, silver was trading at $30.43 per ounce. That is an increase of 274% in exactly 1 year. This is not normal market behavior. This is not a bull market. This is a panic stampede out of paper currency and into hard assets. People who understand what is happening are converting their dollars into physical metal as fast as they possibly can because they know the paper is dying. And silver is not alone. Gold, as of this morning, is trading at $5,537.92 per ounce. 1 year ago, it was $2,763. That is almost exactly double, a 100% gain in 1 year for the world's oldest store of value. When gold doubles in a year, when silver goes up 274% in a year, that is not because people suddenly decided precious metals are pretty. That is because people are fleeing the dollar. That is because the smart money, the informed money, the institutional money is getting out of paper and into physical assets before the door closes. And the door is closing. That is what the withdrawal restrictions are really about. The government knows that if people wake up all at once, if even 10% of Americans decide they want to pull their money out of banks and convert it to cash or gold or silver, the entire system collapses immediately. The banks do not have the money. They never did. It is a fractional reserve system. For every dollar you think you have in your account, the bank only holds 10 cents in actual reserves. The rest has been loaned out, invested, leveraged, hypothecated. And if everyone asks for their money at the same time, the math does not work. This is why they are implementing withdrawal limits now, before the crisis, before the panic. They are setting up the infrastructure of capital controls while people are still calm, while people are still trusting, while people are not paying attention. And by the time people realize what is happening, by the time they try to get their money out, the restrictions will already be in place, and they will be trapped. Let me show you the numbers. The total amount of currency in circulation in the United States is approximately $2.3 trillion. That includes all physical cash, all paper bills and coins. But the total amount of money in checking accounts, savings accounts, and money market accounts is over $18 trillion. That means there is $18 trillion of digital money backed by only $2.3 trillion of physical currency. That is a ratio of almost 8 to 1. For every $8 people think they have, only $1 actually exists in physical form. Now, what happens if people try to withdraw even 20% of their deposits? 20% of 18 trillion is $3.6 trillion, but there is only 2.3 trillion in total currency. It is mathematically impossible. The system cannot handle it. And the government knows this. The banks know this. That is why they are building the cage right now while you are not looking. And there's a second layer to this that is even more dangerous. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet as of December 31, 2025, stands at $7.2 trillion. To put that in context, before the 2008 financial crisis, the Fed's balance sheet was less than 1 trillion. They have expanded it by over 7 times in less than 20 years. And every dollar on that balance sheet represents money that was created out of thin air, money that was printed, money that dilutes the value of every dollar you hold. Interest on the national debt is now consuming $1.22 trillion per year, as I mentioned earlier. That is billion per month. That is 28.8 billion per week. That is 4.1 billion per day. That is 171 million per hour. That is 2.85 million per minute. That is $47,500 per second. Every single second that passes while you listen to this, the United States government pays $47,500 in interest on money it borrowed and can never repay. Where does that money come from? It does not come from tax revenue. Tax revenue is already fully allocated to existing programs. The interest money comes from new borrowing. The government borrows more money to pay the interest on the money it already borrowed. That is a Ponzi scheme. That is unsustainable. And everyone who understands finance knows it. This is why gold and silver are exploding. This is why the wealthy, the informed, the connected are moving their assets out of dollars and into hard assets. They know what is coming. They are not waiting for confirmation. They are not waiting for the mainstream media to tell them it is okay to panic. They are acting now while they still can. And here is the brutal truth that nobody wants to talk about. When the system finally breaks, when the currency crisis becomes undeniable, the government will not allow you to protect yourself. They will not let you just withdraw your money and convert it to gold or silver. They will implement what is called a bank holiday. They will close the banks, freeze accounts, restrict withdrawals, and implement capital controls. And while they are doing that, they will announce that precious metals are now subject to emergency requisition for national security purposes. They did it in 1933. They can do it again. On April 5th, 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. This order made it illegal for any American citizen to own gold, not gold mining stocks, not gold certificates, physical gold coins, bars, bullion. The order required every American to turn in their gold to the Federal Reserve in exchange for paper dollars at a fixed rate of $20.67 per ounce. Failure to comply was punishable by a $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison. That fine in today's dollars is approximately $230,000. And here is the part that most people do not know. After the government confiscated all the gold, after they forced everyone to exchange their real money for paper promises, they revalued gold from $20.67 per ounce to $35 per ounce, a 69% increase overnight. The government stole the people's wealth, then immediately increased the value of what they stole. The people who held on to their gold illegally made a fortune. The people who complied and turned in their gold got robbed. History does not repeat, but it rhymes. And right now, the rhythm is unmistakable. Massive government debt, currency debasement, loss of confidence in paper money, rising gold and silver prices, capital controls being quietly implemented. This is the exact same pattern that played out in 1933. The only difference is the scale. In 1933, the national debt was $22.5 billion. Today, it is $38.43 trillion. That is 1,700 times larger. The crisis coming is not going to be contained. It is going to be catastrophic. And you can already see the preview of what is coming in, how they are treating cryptocurrency. In 2024, the SEC declared that most cryptocurrencies are securities and therefore subject to federal regulation. In 2025, they began requiring all crypto exchanges to report transactions over $600 to the IRS, not $10,000, $600. And in January 2026, just weeks ago, they announced that any self-custodied crypto wallet containing more than $10,000 in value must be registered with FinCEN. Self-custodied means you hold your own private keys. You're not using an exchange, you are storing your crypto yourself. And now the government is demanding that you report that to them. Do you see the pattern? They are closing every exit. They are building walls around every form of value that exists outside their control. Cash, gold, silver, crypto. Every avenue of escape is being monitored, restricted, regulated. And the reason is simple. They know the collapse is coming. They know that when people finally understand what is happening, there will be a mass exodus out of the dollar. And they cannot allow that to happen because if it does, the game is over. The dollar dies, the empire falls, and everyone who holds paper wealth loses everything. Now, let me show you what this means for you specifically. Let me walk you through the exact scenario that is coming and how you can position yourself before it is too late. Right now, today, you still have options. The system is restricting withdrawals, but it is not shut down completely. You can still go to your bank and withdraw cash, although they will ask questions if it is over $1,000. You can still buy physical silver and gold, although premiums are rising and availability is tightening. You can still convert paper assets into hard assets, but this window is closing fast. And once it closes, it will not reopen. Here's what you need to understand about the timeline. The government does not announce capital controls in advance. They do not give you warning. They implement them overnight, usually during a crisis. And by the time you wake up and realize what happened, it is too late to act. This is what happened in Greece in 2015. The government closed all the banks on a Sunday night. When people woke up Monday morning, ATMs were limited to 60 euros per day. That is about $65. $65 per day was all you could access from your own account, regardless of how much money you had. And that limit stayed in place for months. This is what happened in Cyprus in 2013. The government announced a bank holiday on Friday evening. Banks were closed for 2 weeks. When they reopened, accounts over 100,000 euros were subject to a bail-in. That is a polite term for theft. The government took 47.5% of every deposit over 100,000 euros to recapitalize the failed banks. People who had their life savings in Cypriot banks woke up one day and found that half their money was gone. No warning, no vote, no recourse. This is not ancient history. This is not theoretical. This is recent, documented, real-world precedent. And it is going to happen in the United States. The only question is when. Now here is where precious metals become your lifeboat. Physical gold and silver exist outside the banking system. They are not digital entries in a database. They are tangible assets that you hold in your hand. When banks close, when ATMs shut down, when capital controls are implemented, gold and silver still work. They still have value. They are still accepted. And most importantly, they cannot be frozen, seized, or deleted by a government keystroke. But, and this is critical, you have to get them now. You cannot wait until the crisis starts. You cannot wait until the announcement is made. By then, it is too late. The dealers will be sold out. The premiums will be astronomical. The delivery times will be measured in months, or worse, the government will have already implemented restrictions making it illegal to buy or sell without approval. Right now, as of January 29, 2026, you can still buy physical silver at $118 per ounce. Yes, that is up 274% from last year. Yes, that seems expensive if you look at historical prices, but if you understand what is coming, you realize that $118 per ounce is a gift. Because when capital controls hit, when the bank holiday is announced, when the current currency crisis goes mainstream, silver is not going to 150 or 200. It is going to 500, 1,000, maybe more. Not because silver becomes more valuable, but because the dollar becomes worthless. Think about it this way. If you have $10,000 in your checking account right now and the government implements capital controls tomorrow, how much of that money can you actually access? Under Greek-style restrictions, you might be limited to $65 per day. That means it would take you 154 days, over 5 months, to withdraw your own $10,000. And during those 5 months, inflation is eating away at the value. During those 5 months, shortages are developing. During those 5 months, you are trapped. But if you took that $10,000 today and converted it to physical silver, you would have approximately 84.7 ounces of metal. That silver is yours. It is in your possession. It cannot be frozen. It cannot be restricted. It cannot be confiscated unless they physically come to your home, break down your door, and take it by force. And yes, that happened in 1933, but it only happened to people who were on the registration list, people who had bought their gold through official channels where the government could track them. This is why privacy matters. This is why buying from reputable dealers who do not report your transactions to the IRS is so important. This is why storing your metals yourself, rather than in a bank-safe deposit box, is critical. Because when the crisis comes, the government will use every tool they have to identify, locate, and confiscate hard assets. And if you are in their system, if they know what you have, you become a target. Let me give you one final piece of evidence that proves this is not speculation. On January 8th, 2026, just 3 weeks ago, the Joint Economic Committee released their monthly debt update. The report stated that the national debt is increasing at an average rate of $8.03 billion per day, not per month, per day. That is $334.48 million per hour. That is $5.57 million per minute. That is $92,912.33 per second. While you were listening to this script, while you were sitting here trying to decide if this is real or not, the national debt increased by over $6 million. In the time it takes you to make dinner tonight, it will increase by another $1 billion. This is not sustainable. This is not manageable. This is a debt spiral that ends in currency collapse, hyperinflation, or default. There is no fourth option. There is no magical solution. The math does not allow for a happy ending. And the government knows this. The Fed knows this. The banks know this. They are preparing for the inevitable. They are building the infrastructure of control so that when the crisis hits, they can manage the collapse without losing power. Capital controls, digital currency, withdrawal restrictions, asset monitoring. This is all about control. This is all about making sure that when the system falls apart, the people in charge stay in charge and the people at the bottom stay at the bottom. But here's the part they cannot control. They cannot control what you do right now, today, before the crisis. They cannot stop you from converting paper wealth into hard assets. They cannot prevent you from withdrawing cash, buying gold, buying silver, and storing it outside the banking system. At least not yet. They are working on it. They are building the regulations. They are closing the loopholes. But as of today, January 29, 2026, you still have the freedom to act. And that freedom has an expiration date. I'm not telling you to panic. I'm not telling you to do anything reckless. What I am telling you is to wake up. Look at the facts. Look at the timeline. Look at the policies being implemented right now while everyone is distracted by whatever crisis is dominating the news cycle. The withdrawal restrictions are real. The $1,000 monitoring is real. The ATM limits are real. The national debt spiral is real. The rising precious metals prices are real. These are not theories. These are documented facts. And if you understand these facts, if you connect the dots, there is only one logical conclusion. The system is breaking. The government is preparing for the break. And you need to prepare as well. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels convenient. Now, today, while you still can. Silver at $118 per ounce is not expensive when you understand what is coming. It is cheap. It is the cheapest insurance policy you will ever buy. And unlike every other insurance policy, this one actually increases in value over time instead of costing you premiums. Gold at $5,537 per ounce is not out of reach for everyone. You can buy fractional gold. You can buy 10th ounce coins, quarter ounce coins. You can start small and build over time, but you have to start. You have to take action. Because when the window closes, when the restrictions become lockdowns, when the monitoring becomes confiscation, you will not get a second chance. The trap has been set. The cage is being built. And most people will not realize they are trapped until it is too late. Do not be most people. Be the person who saw it coming. Be the person who acted. Be the person who protected their wealth.
I'm gonna stop this right here because I want to bring someone into this space. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much for being on with us. We love you guys. Hard assets. Miss Hilda asked a good question. Grand Rising, Sister Hilda. Hard assets are gold and silver. They're physical assets that actually hold and maintain their value. He's talking about gold, silver, platinum, even copper. And I know people are like, what do you mean by copper? Yes, including copper. I'm going to also put up something because I tell y'all, I put my money where my mouth is, and I also make sure I put information. I make sure I provide information. So he was talking about something that I went researching while we were watching. I'm letting y'all know I teach this. I teach people how to do this. We in class right now learning how to protect ourselves financially. It is not just about exploring cryptocurrency. It's about understanding the economic and financial times you live in and being able to take advantage of you through knowledge, how to actually make it work for you. Because too many people are out here scared and running and they don't understand this is real. We're not coming out here trying to scare you. I'm showing you, we up here on the I'm at www.jec.senate.gov. The same people he was talking about, the Joint Economic Committee. And it says right here in front of me, anybody else can see this? It says straight up, you know, the Congressman David, I guess Schweikert's Daily Debt Monitor. I'm on the website. This is a .gov. This is not a private site. And this is their daily debt monitor that they put up. It's the debt dashboard. New York U.S. Congress website, y'all. It says the total national debt has grown by $74,378.88 per second for the past year. I don't know about y'all, but if you owe $75,000 every second for the past year, how you think you doing?
That's 74,000 salaries for most people. A year.
Some people don't make that in salary, but we owe that every second. They didn't say day. They didn't say hour. They said second. And how many seconds are in a day, y'all? So where are we getting this money from? And he was right. All of the tax money that they do finally collect, when they collect it, by the way, they really don't. All of that tax money, y'all know about more people owe taxes than pay. Y'all know that, right? Yep. So that
it's already pre-allocated.
On a business or for people owing you their rent, 9 times out of 10 you couldn't run. A lot of y'all recognize that. People go into debt. And in our case, this is just the debt. You couldn't run a credit card like that. Yet they run our country like this. And then they go back and borrow more money to cover this debt, which brings that value up again. Well, honey, we're going to talk about today. My question is what you going to do about it? What y'all want to do about it? See, because that's this conversation that you're in. Grand Rising and welcome to Breakfast with the Time. You have finally hit the conversation that says, hey, we know the problem, not what we're going to do. So let's get into it, family. Let's talk about it. So the video that you watched, just want to make sure you clear. The video y'all heard and y'all watched was from it was from the 29th of last month. That was the time. Silver was trading at about 118. As of right now, the silver price, and I was just looking that up, I always make sure I keep an eye on my money. Silver is at 77. It's the spot price is $77.54. It went down. Now, my question for y'all is, how many of y'all can't afford that still? How many of y'all still waiting until silver go down more? It ain't.
Look, what are you waiting for?
It leveled. That's it. It's going to shoot back up. Every time that we get some major pushback in the financial system as big as this, that price starts shooting up. Why?
Absolutely.
Because I've been trying to let you all know. The money system is dying. It's dead. It's not even dying. It's dead. The money system, y'all realize it's a system. So when the system starts going the other way and you're stuck with getting that stuff and needing the system to give it back to you to survive, and they change the rules, what you gonna do?
Sure. I don't know if anyone even heard it.
It's a banking holiday. Y'all know that, right?
Yep.
It's a bank holiday. Every one of these federal holidays, your bank is closed. And rules change every banking holiday because these are planned. Now, like I said, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to inform you. And then we got to come up with a resolution because people have been taught.
Well, I don't know if y'all have got that, but one of the things that are really on point, and you guys got to pay attention, they said capital controls. Capital controls just means more restrictions on what you have access to inside your account. Let's keep it 100 so you guys are really on the same page with us. It's them telling you they're only going to allow you to take out so much of your own hard-earned money that you've already allotted to the bank, and you've given them custodial control. Essentially what they mean, you signed on to have your bank hold your money. And, back in, I want to say 2024, they released the restrictions of how much the banks didn't have to give you restrictions. Guess what? When they put that out in play, the bank said, oh, wait, we can remove the restrictions. There are banks who've added restrictions, lowering the amount that you can access, lowering the number of transactions you can receive. And babe, I see you back there. I don't want to cut your wisdom. Why don't you finish saying what you were saying? But pay attention to what your bank. And one other thing, I want you guys to notice, those ATMs that you used to go to, the times have shifted. Big thing. You used to be able to you say the rooms are open 24 hours a day for your access. That's not true anymore. Babe, your mic is out. Your mic is out. Okay, she's coming back in just a second.
Is that better?
Okay, there you go. Woo-wee!
All right. They couldn't hear me on all areas. All right. So look, let me explain something to you.
I thought you left me by myself.
I did not.
They were in trouble because they were going to get it.
All right, look, let me tell you something. I want you guys to start paying attention. We've been putting this out. I've been putting this out pretty steady for the last few months. Practically a year. Because this has happened. We've actually been very aware of what's been going on, but most people think, oh, it's just the bank. It's not the bank, sweetie. The banking system is changing. That thing that when you have your paycheck go to the bank, how about you not be able to withdraw it completely because they determined it's been flagged? Yep. Guys, that's happening. It's not going to happen. It's already set in place. That video was from January. What we're trying to catch you up is it's time to learn how to use the system before you don't have anything in the system. See, all y'all got your retirements, your paycheck, payments from for your business going straight into these accounts. And Miss Ruby been telling y'all, you need another payment rail. You got to get out of the one payment rail. That's why they're trying to come down on cryptos. Mm-hmm. Not your keys, not your crypto is when we talk about it. Not your cash, not your money. Their account is their account. If it's their bank, it's their account. It's not yours.
Come to class, family. Come to class.
Yeah, you have to. And you have to start researching what you hear on this show. Go back to the other shows when we got all kinds of information for you in those shows. Then we have a whole station. Go ahead, enjoy. It's free. Come to class right now until the end of February. You got to the 27th, 26th. Here I go. The 28th of February, the last day in February. Our price for our class, you get to join our class for 30 days. It's last year's price at a discount. It's $75 for a month to come to classes where you have lives, videos, training, coaching, and everything for the month. Now, my question is, you gonna wait till everything hit and y'all, matter of fact, I'm gonna let you know right now, it already hit. This is already hit. Go to your bank and ask them with the new rules. Please check your app because you just got a banking update. Go look at the new banking laws. Look at withdrawal balances now.
Right under notifications, y'all check under notifications.
I'm not talking about what's gonna happen. I've been telling you this was coming for about the last freaking year. We told y'all they lower the bank balances. $10,000 is no longer the flag. It's now 1,000. And even for how you get to 1,000, they're checking you.
Yep.
Y'all know what that means? They went from Chase, guys, they didn't care because $10,000 was more than most people in withdrawal. That used to be a trigger. Now they're going after all y'all money. They're going after reasons to shut down anybody and everybody who they decide how. And this is the banking system. We're talking government and banking working together to control people.
If you're a small business and you're paying your employees in cash, they're tracking your cash movements.
Yeah,
because they want to put everybody on the system.
Cash.
Who's getting cash?
Who's getting cash? Why? Got a question. Do you want your banker asking you why you taking out $1,000 out your bank account, and then you got to prove to them that that's a legitimate thing? Baby, I don't need my bank police and my paycheck. How many of y'all cool with that? Looking forward to it? Because that's what's happening now. It's not happening in the future. We're not telling you. I know my cryptos accounts. I don't got no banker. I don't got no third party counterparties. I don't got none of that. My gold and silver, no third party. Do what I want with it. Until you do it, though, you get it the wrong way. I've been trying to let y'all know it's time to start teaching you how you gotta start learning what custody means. Self-custody means. And I mean, not in theory, but in action. I go back, I hate to say it, but I love to toot my own horn in this case because it's not even about me. It's about what I was able to inspire others to do. Now, this is about the community now getting their hands on the process. Does that make sense? Not the information.
The process.
We built into the programming a process and an actual DeFi contest, or I should say it's more of a challenge. I always like challenge. Challenge is a better word. So that you all who are a part of the education can know what it's like to build, to know what it's like to make moves on information you've been getting, to make sure that you got it. And you know what? I don't have to worry about what you say, Ms. Ruby, I ain't got the money. The platform provides. I don't mind, make me some money. Go ahead, make me some money. But don't forget to put your money where your mouth is while you putting my money to work. That's what we got going on. I ain't worried about this. I got students making me money now. Why? Because it makes them money. It teaches them the process hands-on. See, I got a lot of folks that's in this education business that just want to be about getting the people money and they got to get paid. My question is if your process works, then everybody gets paid, right? Right? Too many people not willing to put their money where their mouth is. You want to keep talking. I'm coming to class. I'm going to get there. Well, if you've noticed, the world has changed and this class won't be this class next year. Come my next session, everyone
elevated.
We in session 10. There used to be 8 weeks. There's now a 12-week class. Once this 12-week closes, a new 12 weeks opens. And that 12 weeks has all new information. Same foundation, but all new information. You know why? Because it's built on the current state of the world. I do not rebuild on old information. That's where we, the people, keep going wrong. We keep using that old information to run this new system that they done changed up on us over and over. Y'all still think the rules apply. No, baby. The rules moved and the board changed. You just still standing in the same place, hoping you're going to get somewhere. Well,
Chess is the true game of finance.
It's over. This whole iteration is over. The reset is up. It's time. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
Oh man, yep, the reset is
I got some love. I got some love in the house. I want to make sure we give everybody appreciation for being in this space. Y'all come to class. We tell y'all, we always tell you, Wednesday night is an open conversation. We have these lives, but we get into the nitty gritty of what's going on. We point out what's up, because you guys need information to go on. But my thing is, if you too busy to show up, then I ain't got time for you either. Let you know right now. I ain't got time for suckers that are willing to take no time for themselves. I'll let you know that right now. I love everybody. I care for all of y'all, but not more than you give a damn about yourself. And that's the bottom line about life. And if you don't like it, have a good one. I'm cool with it.
They'll get over it.
They will get over it. Now, you won't overcome it, because a lot of y'all are floating around with a lot of cash right now. You got money. You got money in your pocket dying because the economy is dying. Then the money sitting in the bank is dying because that's a joke. The new rules mean you get it when they say so. It was always that way. It was just a higher threshold. Now you're going to feel it more. Now you're going to hear it more. A teller is going to tell you what you're entitled to from your paycheck. But you ain't have to.
How the hell is that even possible?
Come on now.
The teller's going to tell you, hold on, sir. We'd like to ask you what you're going to use your money for. And you have to tell us.
Justify it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, first, you got to make an appointment. Then you got to bring them a good reason. It's got to be legitimate to them, or you get nothing. Didn't you make that check? Oh, I'm going to change my bank. Guess what they did? They went and put it in all bank. They went and made sure that this was the new banking rule. FinCEN, baby. Oh, wait, we've been talking about FinCEN for about 3 years now. Told y'all, we told y'all in 2020, what was it, 2021, that FedNow was already here. It was coming. It was going to be in action. Well, FedNow is what's running the rails that the banks are running on. My rails are crypto blockchain. Yeah. My rails are ones that cash out for different things. My rails don't have third parties. I can actually do business person to person. I'm showing actual small businesses how to get paid in crypto. So when them banks say you can't do something with your money, you actually got cash to do something with. You got something that's transferable. My question is when are you going to bring yourself and your business into this education? Because you don't have no more time.
Yep.
Time is up, boo.
The rails have moved.
Yeah. You gonna hear something? All them expensive hairdos won't get paid for. Oh, you can use your card. Yes, you can. But what happens when the business owner stops taking that because they need to keep the cash coming in?
Yep.
They don't have access to their cash and they would rather be private. So you now have business owner local. You know how that affects us on the ground, y'all? The people at the lowest area is because we got to come out of the digital system. Otherwise, we don't get permission to use our money. Come on, somebody. Did you hear me?
And this is the capital control that they're telling you about.
Hairdresser loses access to their money. So they stop taking money in the banks and start doing direct cash. You stop getting access to cash so you can't get your hair did, baby girl. Because you got nothing that they want to take now. That don't exist in crypto. That don't exist with gold and silver. I got gold backs. That's transferable to physical money. Or actually, it's now transferable to services and goods. Yes.
Absolutely.
But my question is what economy are you sitting in? Which ones are you locking your kids and your family into? What's grandma and grandpa gonna have? What's your elders gonna have to do? Because you won't sit down, get some education, take that home and be like, look, I'm giving you, I told my relatives, you get one opportunity. I'm not chasing a damn relative down. I love my kids, but they will be subject to the world and the education they put themselves through. When you don't want to listen to your mama, y'all know what happened, right? Every time you don't listen to your mama. Well, I'm telling you, I ain't your mama. I'm your sister trying to help putting some knowledge in your head and put you on the game. And if you don't want it, I love you. Peace be with you. And this is my birthday, y'all. This is my birthday. So if I'm going to give you bottom dollar for 2025 to come in and come get this for real with people that actually, my class is quite large considering we went through some hell early on. Opening up this class, Dude thought he was cute. He thought he was going to crash my program. Ain't none of that happened. Because the world he lived in just changed, and he's the one who lost, not the people he let down. I had to learn that. I don't exist. This information didn't stop being important because somebody decided they weren't going to put some dollars toward other people's payment. I'll tell you right now, pay the way, and you will too get what you came for. I paid for this information. I've been paying for this information for the last 7 years. Learning, putting it together. I pay in time. I paid in tuitions. I put this together so that you all could change how things go forever. Whatever you learn belongs to you. Y'all get that?
Yep.
Whatever you learn belongs to you. Can't nobody take that away. And when you learn how to acquire more knowledge more effectively, how to use technology effectively, how to have it change the way things come out. Y'all like that song? Y'all like our opening song and the closing song? That's AI working for me. I worked the AI. It didn't work me. Y'all get that? Everything you see here is a skill for the future. Everything you hear here, it builds the future. That's built into my class. Why? Because we ain't got time for talk no more. I don't have time to chase money when I know I can make it, build it, and keep it growing. And when I know the secret is the people, what do I get, y'all? I either get more, and we got some love in the house. I gotta give y'all. I'm about to close my voice so y'all can hear these voices of the folks coming into the space because they want to speak. And
okay, let it rip.
I'm coming. All right. And on that note, I want to say thank you to everybody who not only shows up, but sticks in there listening and they're benefiting. Y'all need to come to class because you're missing the middle pieces. You're missing the middle pieces. It's not just buy gold and silver and crypto. There's a system to it and it works. When you want the best, you get the rest. Y'all get that? Don't just come for the scraps because that's all we can do in this timing. It's 1 hour. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And next week is going to be, the next Wednesday, which is Work It Out Wednesday, is going to blow your mind. So let me get the messages in. I love you guys. And thank you for being here for my birthday.
What's happening? Great Rob. Yo,
That's right.
like a Miss Ruben.
Ha!
Happy birthday.
I love it. I guess that won't get us arrested, right? It won't get us.
Yes, I'm listening. I hear you and I'm listening.
That's what I'm saying. I know you hear me, boo-boo. All right. Now let you know right now. And that's love from the community. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. But that's the whole thing. We got to understand the community is everything. That's the thing. They break us down by separating us. That's the divide and conquer. Telling us that things are illegal, illicit, and then going and getting it, scaring the hell out of you to make you think you got to tell them everything. Oh, I got to tell you everything. I got to ask a question. Why is your tax form required if they know everything?
Facts.
Why you got to turn in information if they know everything? It's because they don't know yet, and you guys are foolish enough to be scared instead of reading.
And why do they talk about they want to do a forced surrendering now? That's one of the things that's on the table. If it gets bad, they want forced surrender.
Well,
they don't know you got it.
Forced surrenders already happened. How many of y'all letting somebody come bust in your house and take out your physical gold, the only value you got? Huh? They gonna come in your house like ICE and start taking your stuff, and you cool with that? I doubt it. And not only on that note, you have to learn how the wealthy, because they ain't coming to wealthy people's house kicking down the door and taking out their hundreds and thousands and millions and billions of dollars. Trust and believe the rules apply to everybody, but everybody don't look the same. And that's what we teach. How to take and work. You work like the wealthy. Stop acting like you know something when you don't. I got my guns. Yeah, you're going to get shot for your money. because it's always yours. So come to class, learn what's really happening in the world, learn how to take this, how the paper world work, because that's about the only thing that exists out here in reality. What's written on paper.
That's what matters.
That's what starts the movement. I hate to say, but that's what started the movement to your bank controlling your money. Paperwork. So if they're playing the paper game and you playing the physical game, your game don't matter, does it? Time to change the game. Let's get to work, family. I'll see you on approximately Wednesday, baby. Thank you and happy birthday, Miss Ruby. It is time to go. So let's get it popping. I love you. Mwah.
Ooh. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. See ya. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday. Okay. Pay it forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, underneath a love, serving food for what those two rising every beat and it's Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat.